Seribot here, my favorite bot. And Stream Elements is in chat, but I can't. I can't see Stream Elements in chat. Just on my chat overlay. Hello, Queen. Well, if Queen's here, I guess we can start. My the Mife Mochili, it's your favorite duo, Olive, and today we're going to be doing our morning ASMR. We're going to be reading the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is the oldest known story on Earth. It was written by the Sumerian civilization, and I believe the Babylonians kept it. I'm very excited to read this off for you today. Hello, Queen. How are you? Sorry, I'm a bit awkward. I keep forgetting what my full intro actually is. This is, of course, the story of the great king Gilgamesh. Guess you shall begin. There was a man who saw the deep, the bedrock of the land, who knew the ways and learned all things. Gilgamesh saw the deep, the bedrock of the land, who knew the ways and learned all things. He sought out rulers everywhere and came to grasp all wisdom in the... 1 second. The mic just tipped over, my bad. He sought out rulers everywhere and came to grasp all wisdom in the world. He discovered a secret, revealed a hidden matter, and brought home a story from before the flood. I think you're going to lurk tonight? I'm really exhausted. Alright. I'll have some rest because I'm about to... It's here to help you sleep, so I hope it does. Brought home a story before the flood. He came back from far roads, exhausted but at peace. Oh, just like you, Queen. As he sat down all his trials on a slab of stone. He built the wall around Uruk, the sheepfold, and around that holy treasure, the temple of heaven. See that wall, white as wool, behold the bulwark that cannot be rivaled. Step across the ancient threshold and up to the temple of heaven, home of Ishtar, that no king will ever outdo. Climb the wall of Uruk, walk its length. Survey the foundations, study the brickwork. There is it not made of oven-baked bricks? Did the 7 sages not lay its cornerstone? God, the mic's always a bit too close. Look, 2,000 acres for the city, 2,000 acres for the orchards, 2,000 acres for the pits of clay, and 1,000 acres for the temple of Ishtar. 7,000 acres is the size of Uruk. Now look for the cedar wood box, undo its locks of bronze, open the door to its secrets. Take up the tablet of lapis lazuli and read aloud. Read all that Gilgamesh went through. Read all of his suffering. He surpassed all kings, that splendid man of muscle, heroic son of Uruk, the goring aurochs. When he marched at the front, he was the leader of his army. When he marched at the back, the trust of his troops. A mighty riverbank, the shield of his soldiers, and a furious flood that crushes walls of stone. The calf of Lugor-Banda, superb in strength, nursed by Ninsum, the holy Uruks. Gilgamesh the great, magnificent and terrible. He cut passes through the mountains, he dug in the hillsides. He travelled towards sunrise, crossing sea after sea. He searched in all directions for life without end. He reached through his toils the faraway Utu-Napishti. He rebuilt the temples that the flood had destroyed, and established the right rituals for vast humankind. Who can compete with him in kingship, and claim like Gilgamesh, I am the king? From the day that Gilgamesh was born and named, he was 2/3 god and 1/3 human. The mother goddess Bela-Ili designed his body. The wise god Ea brought his figure to perfection, so that he brimmed with strength and shining beauty. He was a giant in height, 18 feet tall, and his chest was 6 feet broad. His feet were 5 feet long, twice his length, and and the length of his stride was the same. His beard too was 5 feet long. His locks curled and thick like ears of corn. His teeth glistened like the rising sun. His hair glowed dark like lapis lazuli. He grew up to be superb in charm, as stunning as any mortal can be. But he was stomping through Uruk the sheepfold, with his head held high, overbearing like an oryx. Oryx are mentioned a lot. He was unmatched when the weapons were unsheathed, and the swing of his bat kept his team on their toes. He darkened the youth of Uruk with despair. Gilgamesh let no son go home to his father. Day and night he stormed around in fury, King Gilgamesh, leader of the many. This is how he tended to the sheepfold of Uruk. Gilgamesh let no daughter go home to her mother. Month after month the women prayed to their goddess. Again and again they gave voice to their sorrows. That powerful, splendid, clever king. Gilgamesh let no bride go home to her groom. Warriors' daughters and the young men's wives, the goddess listened to their sorrows. The gods of heaven, lords of words, said to Anu, the god of the skies, "Why did you unleash this savage Uruk in Uruk? He is unmatched when the weapons are unsheathed, and the swing of his back keeps his team on their toes. He has darkened the youths of Uruk with despair. Gilgamesh let no son go home to his father. Day and night he stormed around in fury. This is how he tended to the sheep of Uruk. King Gilgamesh, leader of the many, meant to be their shepherd and protector. This powerful, splendid, clever king, Gilgamesh lets no bride go home to her groom. The warriors' daughters and the young men's wives listened to Anu listened to their sorrows. They summoned mighty Aruru. You, Aruru, created this man. Now create his counterpart. Let him be a match for the storm of his heart. Let them rival each other and leave Uruk at peace. When Aruru heard this, Anu's idea found form in his heart. Aruru washed his hands. She took lumps of clay and threw it down into the wild. In the wild she created the hero Enkidu, a son of silence woven for war. All his body was covered with fur. His hair was as long as a woman's, and his locks curled like ears of corn. He knew no people or no country. Naked like an animal, with the gazelles he grazed on grass, with the herd he rushed to drink, with the beasts he quenched his thirst. One day by the water-hole he locked eyes with a hunter, a woodsman. One day, and a second, and a third, Enkidu and the hunter locked eyes by the water-hole. The hunter looked at him and froze with fear. Then he headed home with his catch. The hunter was troubled, speechless and still. His heart was heavy and his face full of gloom. There was sorrow in his mind. He looked like one who had travelled far. The hunter worked his words, saying to his father, "Father, there was a man by the waterhole, a man all muscle, the mightiest in the land, as mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky. I see him roaming through the mountains, always grazing with the herd, always standing by the waterhole. I am afraid to go near him. Each pit I dig he fills, each trap I set he breaks. He helps his herd escape my grasp. He will not let me do the work of the wild." It should be mentioned, by the way, that the Epic of Gilgamesh came from tablets that was slightly destroyed. His father worked his words, saying to the hunter, "My son, blank, but probably go to Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, something something before him, for he is mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky. Take the road and head towards Uruk, something something something, a man's muscles. Go, my son, bring back a priestess of Ishtar, something as strength. When the herd comes to the waterfall, make her strip and show her charm. He will see her and run to her. Then he will abandon the herd of his youth." The hunter listened to the advice of his father and went to something. He took the road and headed to Uruk. He said to King Gilgamesh, "There is a man by the waterhole, a man all muscle, the mightiest in the land, as mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky. I see him roaming through the mountains, always grazing with the herd, always rushing to the waterhole. I am afraid to go near him. Each pit I dig he fills, each trap I set he breaks. He helps his herd escape my grasp. He will not let me do the work of the wild. Gilgamesh said to him, the hunter, Go, my hunter, and bring with you Shamhat, a priestess of Ishtar. When the herd comes to the waterhole, make her strip and show her charm. He will see her and run to her, and then he will abandon the herd of his youth. The hunter went and brought with him Shamhat, a priestess of Ishtar. They took the road and set out on the journey. After 3 days, they reached their destination. The hunter and the priestess sat down to wait. One day and a second they sat by the waterhole. Then the herd arrived at the waterhole. The beast came and quenched their thirst, and so did Enkidu, child of the mountains. When the gazelles grazed on grass, with the herd he rushed to drink. With the beasts he quenched his thirst. Shamhat saw him, a man of the wild, this brute born in the wasteland's womb. There he is, Shamhat, bare your breasts, and spread your legs, work your charm. Be brave and smell his scent, he will see you and run to you. Throw off your clothes and bring him down. Show this wild man what woman can do, and his lust will wrap him around your body, and then he will abandon the herd of his youth. Shamhat untied her skirt, spread her legs, and worked her charm. She was brave and smelt his scent. He threw off her clothes and brought him down. She showed the wild man what woman can do, and his lust wrapped him around her body. For 6 days and 7 nights Enkidu was aroused, and made love to Shamhat. When he had his fill of her delights, he turned back to the herd, but the gazelles saw him and ran. The herd of the wild fled from him. Enkidu had sullied his spotless body. The herd was running, his knees were stuck. Enkidu was weakened and could not keep up, but now he could reason and think. He came back to sit at the priestess's feet, and he looked at the priestess's face and heard what she had to say. The priestess said to him, to Enkidu, You are beautiful, Enkidu, you look like a god. Why do you roam the wild with the beasts? Come, I'll take you to Uruk the sheepfold, to the holy temple where Anu and Ishtar live, where Gilgamesh is a superb in strength, overbearing like an oryx amongst the youth. The words she spoke agreed with him. His wise heart told him to find a friend. Enkidu said to her, the priestess, Come, Shamhat, take me with you, to the holy sacred temple where Anu and Ishtar live, and where Gilgamesh is superb in strength, overbearing like an oryx among the young men. I will be the one to challenge him, subdue him by force. I will stand in Uruk and cry out, I am the greatest. Something, but probably Gilgamesh, I will change something in the fight. Those born in the wild are mighty and full of muscle. No, something, probably says Shamhat. Let him see your face. I know something that some blank exists. Come, Enkidu, to Uruk the sheepfold, where the men are dazzlingly dressed, where every day is a party, where the drums thunder on, and the priestesses are ravishing, and their faces full of charm, and hearts full of joy, so that even old men are lured into the night. Just as a side note for Chad who are curious about why they're talking about priestesses being ravishing, I'm pretty sure priestesses of Ishtar were temple prostitutes. At least I know that's a fact in some. I know that temple prostitutes existed in this era, but I can't remember if all of them did. But anyways. Enkidu, you know nothing of life. Let me show you Gilgamesh, a man about town. Look at him and see it at his face, the dignity he has, the beauty of youth. His whole body is full of charm, his strength is greater than yours. He never sleeps day or night. Oh, Enkidu, forget your wicked plan. Gilgamesh is the darling of the sun god. Anu and Lil and Ea have made him wise. Long before you came down to the mountains, Gilgamesh was dreaming of you. One day Gilgamesh got up to interpret his dream and said to his mother, Mother, in my dream tonight the stars of the skies blazed up, and one of them fell to the ground like a meteorite. I tried to pick it up, but it was too heavy. I tried to push it over, but it would not budge. All of Uruk was there. The whole country flocked to it. They thronged round in crowds. The young men rushed to kiss its feet like a baby's. I wrapped my arm around it and loved it like a wife. And then I picked it up and set it at your feet, and you declared it my equal. Gilgamesh's mother was clever and wise. She knew everything. She spoke to her son. The goddess Ninsun, the Uruks, was clever and wise. She knew everything. She spoke to Gilgamesh. The stars of the skies blazed up, and one of them fell to the ground like a meteorite. You tried to pick it up, but it was too heavy. You tried to push it over, but it would not budge. You picked it up and set it at my feet, and I declared you your equal. You wrapped it around your arms and loved it like a wife. A strong ally is coming, a friend in times of need, a man of muscle, the mightiest in the land, as mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky. You will wrap your arms around him and love him like a wife, and mighty as he will save your life. Yet another dream. He got up and went to his mother, the goddess. Gilgamesh said to her, to his mother, Mother, I had another dream. In the streets of Uruk, the marketplace, there was an axe, and people gathered round. All of Uruk was there. The whole country flocked to it, and they thronged about in crowds, and the young men rushed to it. I picked it up and set it at your feet. I wrapped my arms around it and loved it like a wife, and you declared it my equal. Gilgamesh's mother was clever and wise. She knew everything. She spoke to her son. The goddess Ninsun, the Uruks, was clever and wise. She knew everything. She spoke to Gilgamesh. My son, the act you saw is a man. You will wrap your arms around him and love him like a wife, and I will declare him your equal. A strong ally is coming, a friend in times of need, a man of muscle, the mightiest in the land, as mighty as a meteorite falling from the sky. Gilgamesh said to her, to his mother, O mother, let it be so, by the will of Enlil. I will have a friend and an advisor, all mine. That is what he saw in his dream. When Shamhat had told Enkidu about Gilgamesh's dream, the two of them began to make love again. 1 second. That was chapter 1, or tablet 1. This is tablet 2. Enkidu was sitting at the priestess's feet, and the two began to make love again. Enkidu forgot the wild of his youth. For 6 days and 7 nights he was aroused and made love to Shamhat. The priestess said to Enkidu, When I see you, Enkidu, you look like a god. Why do you roam like a beast? Come, I will take you to Uruk, the marketplace, to the holy temple where Anu and Ishtar live, and where all men can ply their trade. You too, human as you are, will find a place for yourself. Leave the world that the herdsmen fear. The words he heard agreed with him. The woman's wisdom landed in his heart. Shamhat tore her clothes in two, one half on herself, and dressed him in the other. She took his hand and led him like a god to the herdsmen's huts, the pen of their sheep. The herdsmen gathered around him, something, and said to themselves, That man, he looks just like Gilgamesh. His figure looms large, proud like a rampart. This must be the child of the mountains, who is as mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky. They served him bread. They served him beer. Enkidu ate no bread, but stared and gaped. No one had taught him how to eat bread. He did not know how to drink beer. The priestess said to him, to Enkidu, Enkidu, eat bread, life's essence, drink beer, the people's pleasure. Enkidu ate the bread until he was full. He drank the beer, 7 jugs of it. His mind unwound, and he broke into song. His heart was happy, and his face resplendent. The barber shaved the fur on his body. He smeared himself with oil and turned into a man. He put on clothes and looked like a bridegroom. Then he picked up his weapon to fight off lions. While the herdsmen lay down for the night, he butchered wolves and battled lions. When the old shepherd slept, he was their guardian and watchman. There was a man who had been invited to a wedding, and then the rest of this section was cut off. Enkidu was enjoying himself with Shamhat when he looked up and saw the man, and he said to the priestess, Shamhat, bring that man over. I want to hear his reasoning for coming here. The priestess called to the man, He came over and Enkidu asked him, "Young man, why do you hurry? Where does your tiring journey take you?" The man worked his words, saying to Enkidu, "I've been invited to a wedding. All men are fated for marriage. I am to load the family altar with heaps of delightful food for the feast. But the curtains of the wedding bed will open for one last suitor, the king of Uruk. The curtains of the wedding bed will open for one last suitor, Gilgamesh, king of Uruk. He will make love to the wife to be. First him, the groom later. In their wisdom the gods decreed it so. The bride is his birthright." When Enkidu heard this, his face went white, something, something, something. Enkidu went off with Shamhat behind him. He stepped into the Uruk mountain place, and a crowd gathered around him. He stood in the street of Uruk the marketplace, and the people gathered around him and talked. "He looks just like Gilgamesh, but shorter and stouter. This must be the child of the mountain who was brought up by beasts." Uruk never forgets a festival. The young men went merry and chose their champion. For Gilgamesh, the youth with chiseled features, a partner was chosen if he were a god. The bed was made for Ishara, the goddess of love. That night Gilgamesh would lie with the bride, but he stepped forth and stood in the street, blocking Gilgamesh's path to the wedding house. Something disgusted him. Something, something, some Gilgamesh, something in front of him angry. Enkidu went up and stood before him. The two men locked eyes in the street of the land. Enkidu blocked the door with his foot. He would not let Gilgamesh into the wedding house. They took hold of each other, butting like bulls. The door broke, the walls broke. Gilgamesh and Enkidu took hold, butting like bulls. The door broke, the walls shook. Gilgamesh put his knee to the ground. He ended the fight with anger dispelled. When Gilgamesh ended the fight, Enkidu said to him, to Gilgamesh, "Your mother Ninsun, Uruks of Uruk, has given birth to a man without equal. You are superb among warriors. Enlil has made you the ruler of men something, something, throbbing. What drives you to do this? Anything, something, you want it so much. Let me, broken, a feast that no one has ever attempted." They kissed and became friends. Discussing something, they sat down. Broken part. A lot of broken parts in Tablet 2. My apologies, Mukhili. I can't go back in time and fix that. "I have a friend and advisor, just as I saw in my dreams." Enkidu said to her, to the priestess, "Come, Shamhat, let me give you a gift for leading me to Uruk the marketplace, and show me this great man, my friend." Something Uruk the marketplace entered, and then this entire section is broken off. "He is a man of all muscle, the mightiest in the land. As mighty as a meteorite fallen from the sky, his figure looms large, proud as a rampant." Gilgamesh's mother worked her words, saying to her son, the Orixnin's son worked her words, saying to her son, "My son, something bitterly you hold in his gate. Bitterly he will sleep. Enkidu has no something something shaggy hair. He was born in the world. He has no family." Enkidu stood there listening to her words. He thought about it, sat down to cry. Tears filled his eyes. His arms lost power. His power disappeared. Took hold of each other together. Their hands, something like probably lovers. Gilgamesh was something and spoke to Enkidu, saying, "Why, my friend, the tears for your eyes? Your arms lose strength. Your power disappear." Enkidu said to him, to Gilgamesh, "My friend, my heart burns, break off, shakes with sobs. Fear stepped into my heart. Grief has tied knots around my neck." Gilgamesh worked his words, saying to Enkidu, "My friend, if only broken of imminent, but we brawl the days at your side. Now, my friend, in the land Humbaba." The entire section is very broken, and this opening is also broken. "The savage Humbaba, let us kill him, crush his mind. Let us destroy Humbaba in his home, in the cedar forest where he lives." Enkidu worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, "I knew him, my friend, in the mountains. When I roamed there with the herd, the forest is empty for 1,000 miles around him. Who would dare go near him? Humbaba, his howl is a flood, his voice is fire, his breath is death. What drives you to do this? In the home of Humbaba, all hope is lost." Gilgamesh worked his words, saying to Enkidu, "My friend, I will climb the stoops of the forest, the home of the Anarchy gods, and axe may you, may I." Enkidu worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, "My friend, how could we travel to the cedar forest? It keeps cedars safe from harm, and law has made the terror of men. This journey cannot be made, this creature cannot be seen. The guardians of the cedars is blank. Humbaba, his howl is a flood, his voice is fire, his breath is death. He hears every whisper for 1,000 miles around him. Who would dare go near him? And Humbaba is the greatest, second only to the storm god. Would even the gods defy him? To keep the cedars safe from harm, Enlil has made him the terror of men. Despair strikes all those who step into his forest. Gilgamesh worked his words, saying to Enkidu, "My friend, who has ever climbed to the skies? Only gods live in endless sunlight, but the days of men are numbered. All that we do is nothing but wind, and here you are afraid of death. What then is the use of your valiant might? I will go first, you can stand behind me and shout, 'Be brave, march on.' If I die, I will have only made a name for myself." Gilgamesh battled the brutal Humbaba. "You were born and grew in the wild. You fought with lions. You've seen it all. Young men flee from you, break of evening. But now you speak like a coward. Your words have gone soft. You trouble my heart. I want to get started. I want to cut down the cedar and make for myself an everlasting name. Come, my friend, let us go to the forge. Let them make mighty axes for us." They took each other's hand and went to the forge, where the blacksmith sat, deep in discussion. They forged great axes, axes of 120 pounds each. They forged great swords. Their blades alone weighted 120 pounds. 30 pounds weighed their crossguard, and their hilts 30 pounds of gold. Gilgamesh and Enkidu were armed with 600 pounds of metal. He closed the 7 gates of Uruk. He summoned the assembly. The crowd gathered around him, something in the street of Uruk, the marketplace. Gilgamesh sat down on his throne, and the crowd sat down before him, in the street of Uruk, the marketplace. "Men of Uruk, hear me. Men of Uruk who know how to fight. My mind is made up. I will ask the far road to the home of Humbaba. I will face an unknown battle. I will tread an unknown path. Give me your blessing, then I will go. Unharmed may I see your faces again. Triumphant may I step through Uruk's gates. When I return, I will hold New Year's twice. From now on, I will always hold New Year's twice. Let us celebrate the festival. Let us sing in joy. Let the drums thunder for Ninsun." And Kindu gave counsel to the elders, to the men of Uruk who knew how to fight. "Tell him not to go to Cedar Forest. This journey cannot be made. This creature cannot be seen. The guardians of the cedars is something, Humbaba. His heart is a flood. His voice is fire. His breath is death. He hears every whisper for 1,000 miles around him. Who would dare go near him? Humbaba is the greatest, second only to the storm god. Would even the gods defy him? To keep the cedars safe from harm, Enlil has made him the terror of men. Despair strikes all those who step into the forest. The old councillors rose to their feet and spoke their minds to Gilgamesh. "We are young, Gilgamesh. Your heart carries... Sorry. You are young, Gilgamesh. Your heart carries you away. Do not understand the things you say. Humbaba, his howl is a flood, his voice is fire, his breath is death. He hears every whisper for 1,000 miles around him, and despair strikes all who step into his forest. Who would dare go near him? Would even the gods defy him? Humbaba is the greatest, second only to the storm god. To keep the cedars safe from harm, Enlil has made him the terror of men." When Gilgamesh heard this, he looked at Enkidu and laughed. "Look, my friend, how scared I am. I am so scared I will not go. Bah! I will walk the far road to Humbaba, thumping Humbaba like a lion. I'll make a raft of cedar, cypress, and juniper, and there I'll gather. I'll cut Humbaba's head off and sail it down the river." The old councillor rose to their feet and said to Gilgamesh, "May he something you. May your God ease your path. May he something your journey. Come back unharmed to Uruk's docks." And that was tablet 2. I'm sorry about all the damage and odd breaks I had to do. But yes, the Epic of Gilgamesh is recovered through several tablets, and these tablets are broken up, unfortunately. And here's tablet 3. Come back and harm the Uruk's docks. Gilgamesh, do not rely on your strong arms alone. Let your eyes take aim and your sword strike home. They say, go first, and you help an ally. Know the road and save a friend. So let Enkidu go first. He knows the way of the cedar forest. He is skilled in battle and versed in war. Enkidu shall save his friend, shield his ally, and bring him back to the fields of his city. Enkidu, the assembly entrust the king to your care. You will bring him home and entrust him back to us. Gilgamesh worked his words, saying to Enkidu, come, my friend, let us go to the great palace. Stand before Ninsun, the mighty queen. Ninsun is clever and wise. She knows everything. She will lay a path of good ideas at our feet. They took each other's hand. Gilgamesh and Enkidu went to the great palace, and he stood before Ninsun, the mighty queen. Gilgamesh got up and stepped before Ninsun. Gilgamesh said to Ninsun, my mind is made up, Ninsun. I will walk the far road to the home of Humbaba. I will face an unknown battle. I will tread an unknown path. Please will you bless me? Then I will go. Unharmed may I see your face again. Triumphant, I step through Uruk's gates. I will turn home and hold New Year's twice. From now I will always hold New Year's twice. Let us celebrate the festival. Let us sing in joy. The holy Oryx of Ninsun listened in pain to the words of Gilgamesh and Enkidu. She went 7 times to the chamber of cleansing and took a bath infused with tamarisk and soap water. She put on a dress worthy of her body and chose jewels worthy of her breast. Something Ninsun was in place, the crown was on her head. Priestesses something the ground. She climbed the staircase and up to the roof. She went up to the roof and lit the censer for the sun god. She lit the incense for the sun god and lifted her arms. Why, Shamash, did you burden my son with so restless a heart? Now you have touched him, and so he will walk the far road to the home of Humbaba. He will face an unknown battle. He will tread an unknown path. For every day of his journey there and back again, every day until he reaches the cedar forest, every day until he kills the brutal Humbaba and destroys the evil creature you hate. While you travel round the edges of the world, may Aya, your bride, not fear to remind you. Bring him unharmed into the care of the night. At night something light, Shamash opens something, the herd comes out. Something you ride out to the land. The mountains, something the skies. Something the beasts of the wild, something your crimson sheen. Something wait them. The animals you, offerings to you, the dead, life. For you their head. Crowds flock to see your sunbeams flare. Even the Anunnaki gods long for your rays. May Aya, your wife, not fear to remind you. Bring him unharmed into the care of the night. Lay a path of safety at his feet. Touch Enkidu so he goes there first. For he knows the road to the cedar forest. Open the road and ready the mountains, and in his hand something of the road. While Gilgamesh travels to the cedar forest, lengthen the days and shorten the nights. Make sure that his weapons are ready, his gear girt, and that he pitches a camp to sleep for the night. To sleep, something to lie down. May I, your bride, not fear to remind you when Gilgamesh and Enkidu are off the face, and Enkidu face off with Humbaba. Unleash Shamash and mighty storms against him. South wind, north wind, east wind, west wind, gust and gale. Tempest, blizzard, wind of evil, demon blast. Thunderstorm, whirlwind, and hurricane, let 13 winds rise. Darkness will fall on the face of Humbaba, and Gilgamesh's weapons will bring him down. When your light flares up, turn, Shamash, to the man who reveres you. Then let your fast mule take you to something. A bed shall be laid out for you, place of rest, while the gods, your brothers, serve you delightful food, and Aya wipes your brow with the fringe of her dress. The holy Oryx of Ninsun repeated her instruction. Shamash, will Gilgamesh not join the gods one day? Will he not stand in the skies with you? Will he not share the scepter of the moon god? Will he not grow wise with Ea in the Apshu? Will he not rule with Inirna in the underworld? Will he not live with Ningishida in the land of no return? Shamash, let me something this. He must not the cedar forest. You must not reach something your great godhood. And this is really broken, so I'll just continue. Like the people, like you are leading him into something, probably the realm of Humbaba. When the holy Uruk's son has stated her wish, Ninsun, clever and wise, she knows everything, something Gilgamesh something. She put out the censer and came down from the roof. She summoned Enkidu to announce her intent. Strong Enkidu, you were not born from my womb, but now your family will be Gilgamesh's temple. Temple girls, the votaries, and the holy women. She placed the amulet around Enkidu's neck. The temple girls have found a foundling. The holy daughters will foster the foster child. I hereby take Enkidu as my beloved son. Let Gilgamesh treat him with brotherly love. And next text quite broken as well. And while you travel with Gilgamesh to the cedar forest, let the days be long and the nights short. Make sure that your weapons are ready and your gear girt, and that you pitch a camp and sleep in the night. Something protect Gilgamesh. Something like it's very broken. The gates of cedar, Enkidu in the temple of, and Gilgamesh in the temple of, juniper, incense, sons of. By the will of Shamash you will have your wish, in the gates of Marduk, on the water's breasts, in the gate of cedar, Gilgamesh and Enkidu, after 100 miles. That's very broken. With like 170 to 205 is broken. For every day of our journey, there and back, for every day until we reach the cedar forest, every day until we kill brutal Humbaba and destroy the evil creature Shamash hates, you will have no something. Must not assemble the young men in the street. Instead, set straight the lawsuits of the poor. Find something. Until we get our wish like little children, until we plant our weapons in Humbaba's gate. His governor stood there and blessed him, while the crowd of Uruk's men ran behind him, and the laws of the land fawned at his feet. Come back unharmed to Uruk's dock. Gilgamesh, do not rely on your strong arms alone. Let your eyes take aim, and your sword strike home. They say, go first, and you help an ally. Know the road, and you save a friend, so let Enkidu go first. He knows the way to the cedar forest. He is skilled in battle and versed in war, something to the mountain passes. Enkidu shall save his friend, shield his ally, and bring him back to the fields of this city. Enkidu, the assembly entrusts the king to your care. You will bring him home and entrust him back to us. Enkidu worked his words and said to Gilgamesh, you have set your mind on this place, so go. Allow no fear into your heart, follow me, for I know where Humbaba lives in the forest, and the paths that he takes. Speak to the crowd, send them back. Something should not go with me. You, the crowd, glad at heart, heard what he said. Young men, go, Gilgamesh. May your god go. May Shamash lead you to triumph. Gilgamesh and Enkidu, something between something. And that was tablet 3. This is now tablet 4. They stopped to eat after 100 miles. They pitched camp after 200 miles more. In a single day they had walked 300 miles. By the third day it was more than a month's march. They were getting closer to Mount Lebanon. They dug a well towards the setting sun. They poured fresh water into their flasks. Gilgamesh went up to the top of the mountain and offered sacred flower to its peak. Bring me a dream, mountain. Show me a good omen. Enkidu built him a house for the dream god. With windbreak against the storm, he had Gilgamesh lie in a circle of sacred flower, while Enkidu slept like a snare in the doorway. Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knee and was struck by sleep, which fills the mind of men. But at midnight he ran out of sleep, so Gilgamesh got up to talk with his friend. My friend, did you call me awake? Did you touch me? Why am I anxious? Did a god walk by? Why are my limbs numb? My friend, I've had a dream, and the dream I had was all confused. At the foot of the mountain something. The mountain fell, and we, like, something. The child of the wilderness was right man to ask, and Enkidu showed him the meaning of his dream. My friend, your dream is a good omen. Your dream is precious. My friend, the mountain you saw is Humbaba. We will capture Humbaba and kill him, and leave him unburied in the wasteland. When the morning comes, the sun god will send us a sign. They stop to eat after 100 miles. They pitched camp after 200 miles more. In a single day they had walked 300 miles. By the third day it was more than a month's march. They were getting closer to Mount Lebanon. They dug a well towards the setting sun. They poured fresh water into their flasks. Gilgamesh went up to the top of the mountain and offered sacred flower to its peak. Bring me a dream mountain, show me a good omen. Enkidu built him a house for the dream god, with windbreak against the storm. He had Gilgamesh lie in a circle of sacred flower, while Enkidu slept like a snare in the doorway. Gilgamesh rested his knees and was struck by sleep, which fills the minds of men, but at midnight he ran out of sleep, so Gilgamesh got up to talk to his friend. My friend, why did you call me? Why am I awake? Did you touch me? Why am I anxious? Did a god walk by? Why are my limbs numb? My friend, I've had another dream, and the dream I had was all confused. I carried a mountain on my shoulders, but it crumbled and crushed me down. Despair changed my legs, awe shook my arms. But there was a man, he came to me lion-like, and lit up the land with his beauty. He took hold of my arms and pulled me out of the rubble. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh and interpreted his dream. My friend, the dream we now travel to, that monstrous creature, is he not the mountain? Humbaba, whom we now travel? That monstrous creature, is he not a mountain? You will be the first to meet him in battle, and do what men do, the work of warriors. His rage will batter you, his fear will chain your legs, but the man you saw was Shamash. He'll take your hands when you need him. They stopped to eat after 100 miles. They pitched camp after 200 miles more. In a single day they had walked 300 miles. By the third day it was more than a month's march. They were getting closer to Mount Lebanon. They dug a well towards the setting sun and poured fresh water into their flasks. Gilgamesh went up to the top of the mountain and offered, and offered sacred flower to its peak. Bring me a dream mountain, show me a good omen. Enkidu went with him. Enkidu built him a house of the dream god, with a windbreak against the storm. He had Gilgamesh lie in a circle of sacred flower, while Enkidu sleep like a snare in the doorway. Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knee, and was struck by sleep, which fills the mind of men. But at midnight he ran out of sleep. Gilgamesh got up to talk with his friend. My friend, did you call me? Why am I awake? Did you touch me? Why am I anxious? Did a god walk by? Why are my limbs numb? My friend, I've had a third dream, which is unfortunately broken, and the dream I had was all confused. It's also broken here. Oh no, it wasn't broken, my apologies. My friend, I've had a third dream, and the dream I had was all confused. The storm howled, the earth roared, daylight hid, darkness spread, lightning flashed, fires blazed, flames shone, and death rained down. I was stunned by the howl of the storm. The day went dark, and I lost my way. But then the blaze faded, the fires died down. They slowly burned out and dimmed into embers. The darkness turned bright, a god came out. Something he let us hear, something. Enkidu interpreted the dream, saying to Gilgamesh, something the storm howled. Something will batter you, probably Umbaba. Something your eyes will shine. The bright fire that blazes for you. Flames that turn his weapons into ashes. Your dreams are good, luck is on our side, and soon you will reach your reward. They stopped to eat after 100 miles. They pitched camp after 200 miles more. In a single day they had walked 300 miles. By the third day, it was more than a month's march. They were getting closer to Mount Lebanon. They dug a well towards the setting sun and poured fresh water into their flasks. Gilgamesh went up to the top of the mountain and offered sacred flower to its peak. Bring me a dream mountain. Show me a good omen. Enkidu built him a house for the dream god, with a windbreak against the storm. He had Gilgamesh lie in a circle of sacred flower, while Enkidu slept like a snare in the doorway. Gilgamesh resisted his chin on his knees, and was struck by sleep, which fills the mind of men. But at midnight he ran out of sleep, so Gilgamesh got up to talk with his friend. My friend, did you call me? Why am I awake? Did you touch me? Why am I anxious? Did a god walk by? Why are my limbs numb? My friend, I've had a fourth dream, and the dream I had was all confused. I watched a thunderbird soar to the skies, gliding over us like a cloud. Something, and its face was strange. Its voice was fire, its breath was death. There was a man, he looked strange, something standing in my dream. He bound its wings and took my arm, and threw it at my feet. Something on it is broken up. You watched a thunderbird soar through the skies, flying above like a cloud. Something, and its face was strange, its voice was fire, its breath was death. It glowed with frightful light, and you were scared, but I, something, its foot, and lifted you up. The man you saw was Shamash, was the great Shamash. They stopped to eat after 100 miles. They pitched camp after 200 miles. In a single day, they had walked 300 miles. They dug a well towards the setting sun, poured fresh water into their flasks. Gilgamesh went up to the top of the mountain and offered sacred flower to its peak. Bring me a dream mountain, show me a good omen. Enkidu built him a house for the dream god with a windbreak against the storm. He had Gilgamesh lie in a circle of sacred flower, while Enkidu slept like a snare in the doorway. Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knee, and was struck by sleep, which fills the minds of men, but at midnight he ran out of sleep, so Gilgamesh got up to talk with his friend. My friend, did you call me? Why am I awake? Did you touch me? Why am I anxious? Did a god walk by? Why are my limbs numb? My friend, I've had a fifth dream, and the dream I had was all confused. I had taken hold of an oryx, but it bellowed and split open the earth, thrusting the dust to the skies, and I threw myself in front of it. But a figure took hold of me, something around my arm, something pulled me out, something my cheek, and gave me water from his flask. My friend, the man we now travel to, that monstrous creature, is he not an oryx? But the figure you saw was shining Shamash. He'll take your hand when you need him. The one who gave you water from his flask is the god who looks after you, Lugal Banda. We'll be the first to meet Humbaba in battle, a feat no one has ever attempted, and then it's broken for the rest of it. And that's the rest of Tablet 4. We now go on to Tablet 5. They've breached Humbaba. Sorry, I just whacked the mic. There they stood, staring at the door. They saw how tall the cedars were. They saw a way into the woods. Where Humbaba walked, there was a track. The trail was clear, the path well worn. They gazed on the cedar mountain, home of the gods, throne of the goddesses. Sumptuous cedar grew along the mountain sides, and cast their pleasant, joyful shades. The forest was snarled up in branches, tangled with thorns. They blocked the path through the cedars and the baluku trees. For 6 miles around the forest, they grew new shoots of cedar. For 4 miles around it, they grew new shoots of cypress. The trees were webbed with creepers 100 feet tall, and the resin that oozed from them fell like raindrops. Sorry. To be sorted by the ravines. The song of a bird went through the forest. A call comes back, and the song became clearer, clamor. A single cicada set off a chorus. Something sang, something chirped. Pigeons sobbed, doves answered. The stork chattering, filling their forests with joy. The rooster crowed, filling the forest with resounding joy. Monkey mothers sang, baby monkeys cried. This was the concert of song and drums that always funded for Humbaba. Then a cedar cast its shadow, and terror fell on Gilgamesh. His arms went stiff. Despair struck his legs. Enkidu worked his words and said to Gilgamesh, let us go into the forest. It's time, let us sound the battle cry. Gilgamesh worked his words and said to Enkidu, my friend, why do we tremble like cowards? Was it not us who crossed all those mountains? Something before us, something see the light. My friend, you know war. You've been in battle and fear no death. You've bathed in blood and fear no death. Now rage. Let your mind run wild like a prophet. Let your cry ring loud like the drum of the temple. Let despair leave your legs and stiffness your arms. My friend, take hold of me. We'll go as one. Let your heart speak war. Forget death and chase life. Something the careful man. Go first and you will help an ally. You save a friend. That is how you make lasting name for yourself. The two of them arrived at the distance something. They stopped their conversation and stood. Something staring at the forest, something their swords, something straight away and unsheathed. Something axes smeared in, something sword and habits, one something crept something. Humbaba conversed with his heart, saying to himself, didn't something go by? Didn't something go by? Why something scared? Why something? In terror, something. So how it's broken. In my own bed, something. That must be Enkidu. In peace, not broken. If a word broken, in Lil down. Enkidu worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend Humbaba is something. One man stands alone, but two count for double. Though weak on their own, together they are strong. Icy peaks cannot be climbed alone. Only teams can reach the top. Two triplets broken up, just as a two-ply rope is not easily snapped. And the pair of pups brings down a big dog, so stand your ground. Something. My friend, an arrowhead, broken. The road you walk, broken. As we have broken. Broken held up, broken. Broken too, broken. My friend, it's broken. The winds of Shamash, with the winds in his face and the storms at his back. Speak to Shamash, ask him to unleash the 13 winds. Gilgamesh looked up to Shamash and wept, shedding his tears in the light of the sun. Shamash, remember the day I put my trust in you. Stand by me now, broken. Come to the aid of Gilgamesh, the sapling of Uruk. Shamash heard his words he spoke. Straight away a battle cry boomed from the skies. Be brave, stand firm. He must not get to his lair. He must not get to his glade, broken, before he is wrapped in the 7 cloaks of dread. He has taken 6 off. He has only 1 left. They, broken, like Goran orcs ready to... A lot of this tablet is broken. He let out a single terrifying scream. The guardian of the forest screamed, broken. Humbaba roamed like a store god, and then there's a huge broken part. Humbaba worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, fools, we will take advice from half-wits. Gilgamesh, what is it you want here? And you, Enkidu, fish that never knew his father, turtle spawn that never drank its mother's milk. I watched when you were young, but I let you be. Something filled my belly. Why did you leave that evil Gilgamesh to me? You stand there like a stranger, an enemy. I'll split his throat and gullet, and feed his flesh to bugs, eagles, hawks, and vultures. Gilgamesh wrote his words, saying to him, Enkidu, my friend, Humbaba is changing shape. We were brave enough to reach his home, but now my fearful heart can find no peace. Enkidu wrote his words to Gilgamesh. My friend, why do you speak like a coward? Your words have gone soft, and you trouble my heart. My friend, we have only one chance now. What do smiths to get copper from the mold? What do smiths do to get copper from the mold? It takes an hour to get the furnace hot. Then you strike. To unleash a flood, you must crack the whip. Do not pull back your foot, do not turn around. Something strike with all your strength. And then it's basically an entire broken section, vanished. Shamash heard them from afar. He struck the ground and something against them. The earth split open under their feet. Mount Lebanon and Mount Hermon broke apart in battle. White clouds turned back, and death fell like a fog. Then Shamash unleashed his mighty storms, south wind, north wind, east wind, west wind, gust and gale, tempest, blizzard, wind of evil, demon blast, thunderstorm, whirlwind and hurricane. 13 winds rose, darkness fell on the face of Humbaba. He could not ram ahead, he could not kick back, and Gilgamesh's weapons brought him down. Humbaba begged for his life, saying to Gilgamesh, you were young, Gilgamesh, still your mother's boy. You are the son of the holy Oryx Ninsum. And by the will of Shamash these mountains, King Gilgamesh the sapling of Uruk. Gilgamesh the dead man serves no lord, but the living slaves work for his master. Gilgamesh, spare my life, something. Let me stay here in your service, it's broken up. As much timber as you command, it's broken, for you I will guard the myrtle of the something. The timber worthy of the palace, it's also broken. Enkidu worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend, do not listen to him. Something, this entire section's broken, and we only have the words, his prayers. When Baba worked his words, saying to Enkidu, You know the mind of the forest, the mind of something. You know all that is said here, there. I should have hanged you on a tree outside the forest, and fed your flesh to bugs, eagles, hawks, and vultures. But now, Enkidu, only you can release me. Speak to Gilgamesh. Spare my life. Enkidu wrote his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend Baba, the guardian of the forest, of the cedars. Destroy him, kill him, crush his mind. Baba, the guardian of the cedars. Destroy him, kill him, crush his mind, before Enlil hears of it, leader of the gods. The great gods will grow angry with us. Enlil and Nippur, Shamash and Lasar, something, probably Ishtar somewhere. So make yourself an everlasting name. How Gilgamesh killed the brutal Humbaba. Humbaba heard what Enkidu said. He looked up to Shamash and wept, shedding his tear in the light of the sun. When Enkidu slept with beasts, I never caught him, or sullied the cedar-bearing mountain with his blood. Shamash, be my king and my judge. No mother gave birth to me, no father brought me up. Vans gave birth to me, you brought me up. Only Enkidu, only you can release me. Speak to Gilgamesh, spare my life. And I'm pretty sure that entire section just repeats. But it's very broken. Enkidu said to him, to Gilgamesh, kill him, Baba, your god hates. My friend, why have mercy on him? Gilgamesh said to him, to Enkidu, my friend, now is the time to secure our victory. His cloaks of dreads flee into the forest, his frightful lights fade into the mist. Enkidu said to him, to Gilgamesh, my friend, catch a bird and where go the chicks? Let us find the cloaks of dread later. They are like chicks running wild in the forest. Oh, so Baba dies. That that section's broken. Oh no, he's still alive. Well, never mind. When Baba heard what Enkidu said, he looked up to Shamash and wept, shedding his tears in the light of the sun. Enkidu, you came into something, a king something in the clash of weapons, but hatred something, those who live in the palace. You sit at his feet like a sheep and shepherd, like a hireling, something. But now, Enkidu, only you can release me. Speak to Gilgamesh, spare my life. Enkidu wrote his words to Gilgamesh, my friend Humbaba, the guardians of the cedars. Destroy him, kill him, crush his mind. Humbaba, the guardian of the cedars, destroy him, crush his mind. Before Enlil hears of it, the leader of the gods, the great gods will grow angry with us, Enlil and Nippur, Shamash and Lhasa. So make for yourself an everlasting name, how Gilgamesh killed the brutal Humbaba. Humbaba heard what Enkidu said. He looked up to Shamash and wept, shedding his tears in the light of the sun. It's broken up, but may they not something, may they not grow old together. May Enkidu have no one but Gilgamesh to bury him. Oof, okay, well that's a nasty prayer. Enkidu wrote his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend, I speak to you, but you do not listen, until the curse something to his mouth. Gilgamesh wrote the words of his friend and drew the sword from his side. Gilgamesh struck him in the neck. Enkidu cut open his chest, pulls out his lung. Something jumped up. As a trophy, they tore the, and as a trophy, he tore the tusks off his head. Something fell on the mountain. Something fell on the mountains. It's all broken up. Gilgamesh something. They gathered resin from the cedars as incense for Enlil. Enkidu wrote his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend, we have turned the forest into the wasteland. What will we say to if Enlil asks us in Nepal? You used your strength to kill the guardian. What wrath sent you tramping through the forest? After they had killed his 7 sons, the cicada, the growler, the blizzard, the loudmouth, the wise man, Kappa, and the demon, they cut off their something. The axes weighed 120 pounds each, and each of their blows struck 6 feet deep. Gilgamesh cut down the trees while Enkidu found the best timber. Enkidu wrote his words, saying to Gilgamesh, my friend, we have felled a mighty cedar. Hello, honey, whose topmost branches touch the sky. Make a door of it, 120 feet tall. Were you asking me something? Sorry, did I get a DM from you? Are you okay? It's a bit odd to just... Are you inviting me to something? Hi. I was actually just about to finish stream, but make a door 120 feet tall. How are you? I'm well. 40 feet wide and 2 feet thick. It will be one piece, pole, pivot, and swivel. Let the Euphrates carry it to Enlil in Nepal. Let it fill the temple in Nepal with delight. They gathered branches of cedar, cypress, and juniper, and made a raft, loading it with something. Enkidu sailed on his craft, on the raft, something, and Gilgamesh sailed on the boat from Baba. I'm just doing my morning scripture reading. I'm pretty sure I saved it. Yeah. Why do you ask? What's up? 1 second, Mahili. We have guests. We have guests. That means I get to shout you out. We get to shout out Hanako on the channel. The Hanako shout out. Surprise. Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, I do it every Monday. Evening and morning.
What do you mean? What is this?
Watching the honey clip. Let's go.
Anyways, so that never happened. That never happened. That never happened.
You know, it was really weird, Hanako, because recently I went over to go see, like, a streamer that I met recently. Well, not met, but I saw recently. And she sort of sounds and acts exactly like you. And it sort of freaked me out. I'm pretty sure she's not from Canada, but it actually spooked me. I didn't know that I'd run into your hypostasis. But how are you, Hanako? I'm gonna take just a moment because we're gonna read one last tablet and then I'm going to. And you have a twin? Maybe. They sound and act like you. I don't know if I've never talked to them like in person, so I don't know if they're also Canadian. She doesn't know me like that. I just appear when she streams. Which is actually pretty rare, all things considered. A twin. It'd be crazy if I ever met my twin, but I'd never have a doppelganger. I'm too olive. Okay. Alright. I'll be doing one later this evening as well. You can check my schedules. You can check my schedules on either my Blue Sky or on my Discord. Make sure to join then. Oh yeah, did you want to see like this awful like abomination I created one day when I was dicking around with Alex after a collab? I made like a terrible thing. Terrible when I was dicking around. Also, there's a bead in the Easter egg. Okay.
Say that you a lesbian girl, me too. Say that you a lesbian girl, me too. Say that you.
So, what do you think of that? And I'll tell you why I made it. We were making a special command for something. If you type in the word lesbian, should be. Oh, is it not going away? Okay, good. And I had a bunch of sound effects left over. So I wanted to do something with them. So yeah, that's what happens when you type in lesbian in chat. It shows that. Alright. 100 out of 10? Wonderful. I know, it is my... I can't wait to, like, have an uppity chat when I have a chat and, like, send them to that. Is this an Alex fan? I think Alex might also have it still. He made it on his channel, but I also made it on mine, and they're separate, technically. So you can go over to Alex's chat one day and see if typing lesbian causes that or not. But you know what? The day right after this, I made this, was my karaoke collab with Kai. And Alex, the motherfucker, typed that in mid-song while I was with Kai. I've never been so angry at him. Just kidding, I have. But damn. Oh, I should probably announce this, shouldn't I? Um, I can't be next week. Okay. Chat. I did announce this on Discord, but I suppose I should announce this on stream while no one is here. I'm moving around my stream times because I've noticed more people attend my streams when it's later on in the day. So, for my non-collab streams, I have to do my collab streams early into the day. I will be streaming at about 4 p.m. Australian time. It's currently 12 or midday, so 4 hours later than this. SMH, I know, I can't believe him. I should kill him. Yeah. Hopefully this means it's better for people, but I don't know. The issue with being an Australian is when I start stream, I'm only like towards the end of everyone else's streams, and later on in the day I'm at the beginning, but it's hard to tell when no. Yes, I can help. Help with what? Chat, what's Hanako doing? Sus. Is Hanako selling my secrets? What is she doing? The murder of Alex? Of course, we can murder Alex. Wait, isn't Alex a vampire? It's so hard to keep track of who is a vampire and who isn't. I mean, canonically, he's not a vampire. Because he's a fucking insane inmate, but it's what it is. Cool. We need a book. We need a book. The Alex Law book. I did make Alex finish his law. He just hasn't posted it ever. I don't know why he hasn't. I'm gonna dig around right after this. Alright. He washed his filth. Oh, sorry. Tablet 6. Previously, we just finished Tablet 5, where they killed Humbaba. This will be our. No, this is. Yes, this is Tablet 6. This will be our final tablet for this morning. These streams are only an hour long. Mostly because I didn't want to spend too long reading, it hurts my mouth. I'll be seeing you all later on, however, when I finish the Classic of the Seas. I hope Queen, not Honey, blah blah blah. I hope Queen's there. Does she really like the series? He washed his filthy hair, cleaned his dirty gear. He shook his hair down from over his shoulders. He took off his tatters and put on clean clothes, wrapped in a cloak and tied with a belt. Then Gilgamesh put on his crown, and Ishtar caught sight of his beauty. Come, Gilgamesh, marry me. Give me the fruit of your body. Be my husband, make me your wife. Let me ready for you a chariot of lapis lazuli and gold, with golden wheels and caps of amber, drawn by demons, big mules indeed. Step into my cedar-scented house, and as you step into my house, the threshold and throne will kiss your feet. Kings, lords, and nobles will bow down before you, and bring you tribute from mountains and plains, where your goats bear you triplets, and your ewes twins. Your donkey will be fastest with its foot right. Your horse will gain glory in the chariot. Your ox will be unmatched of the plough. Gilgamesh wrote his words, saying to Ishtar, as if I would ever marry you. You would wash my clothes and body. You would give me food and fare. Would you serve me bread that is fit for a god? Would you pour me beer that is fit for a king? Something obliged, something heap high, something cloak, marry you. You are a winter too warm to freeze ice, a half-door that blocks no wind or draught, a palace that crumbles and kills its heroes, an elephant that throws off its rider, a lump of pitch that stains the hand, a flask of water that soaks the cloak, a block of limestone that weakens the wall, a ram that racks our walls for the enemy, a shoe that bites the foot of its owner. Tell me, did any of your lovers last? Did any of your lovebirds fly to the skies? Come, let me count your conquests. I'll just quickly make an addendum here. The reason Ishtar is asking is because she's somewhat of a sovereignty deity, and to be king, you sort of have to marry her, so she's telling King Gilgamesh to do it properly. There was a man who held you or something in his arms. Your childhood lover, the Muzi. You damned to sorrow year after year. You loved the bright-eyed roller bird, then you struck it, breaking its wings. Now it sits in the forest and cries, "My wing." You loved the lion, superb in strength, but dug 7 pits for it, and 7 more. You loved the stallion, eager for battle, but you damned it to whips, lashes, and pain. You damned it to 50 miles of gallop. You damned it to drink muddied water. And its mother, Silili, you damned to sorrow. You loved the shepherd, the herdsman, the drover, who always baked fresh bread for you, and slaughtered a goat for you day after day, but you struck him and turned him into a wolf. Now his own shepherd boy chases him away, and his own sheepdogs bite at his thighs. You love Ishulanu, your father's gardener, who always brought you dates in his basket, and every day set for you a sparkling table. You caught sight of his beauty and went straight to him. Ishulanu, let's have a taste of your work. Stretch out your hand and pluck my fruit. Ishulanu said to me, what do you want me for? I've already eaten what my mother baked. Should I eat slander and insult instead, with reeds as my only cover in the cold? You heard what you said, so you struck him to a werewolf. You let him live in his garden, but he cannot climb or go under. Now you would love me and treat me the same? When Ishtar heard this, the furious goddess ruined the skies. Weeping, she went before Anu, her father, shedding her tears before Antu, her mother. Father, Gilgamesh keeps insulting me. He keeps spouting slander about me. Slander about me and insults against me. Anu worked his words, saying to Queen Ishtar, but did you not go to King Gilgamesh and spouting slander about you? Slander about you and insults against you? Ishtar worked her words, saying to Father Anu, Father, give me the ball of heaven, so I can kill Gilgamesh in his home. If you do not give me the ball of heaven, I will raise the houses of the underworld, and open the gates to the land below. I will raise the dead to eat the living, and the living will be outnumbered by the dead. Anu worked his words, saying to Queen Ishtar, if you really want the ball of heaven, first Uruk's windows must be gathered 7-fold of fodder, and the farmers of Uruk must grow hay. Ishtar worked her words, saying to Anu, I had already stored something, I already grew something. Uruk's widows gathered 7 years of fodder, and the farmers of Uruk grew hay. I will kill him with the fear of the bull. Anu heard what Ishtar said, and gave her the reins of the ball of heaven. Ishtar let it down to the earth. When it reached the lands of Uru, the forest, the marsh, the canebrake dried up. As it went down to the river, the water level fell 12 feet. The bull snorted, a pit opened up, and 100 men of Uruk fell in. It snorted again. A pit opened up, and 200 men of Uruk fell in. It snorted a third time. A pit went up, and Enkidu fell in up to his waist. He jumped out and took the bull of heaven by the horns, but it spat froth in his face, and threw him off with its tail. Enkidu worked his words, saying to Gilgamesh, My friend, we prayed ourselves of something in our city. Now shall we say to the gathering crowd, My friend, I have tested the strength of the bull. Measured us by London's aim. Now I will test its strength once more. I'll sneak up behind the bull. I'll grab a tuft of its tail. With my foot on its hock, I will something. Then you, like a butcher, brave and deft, will thrust your sword between its neck, horn, and spine. I think he's talking about the nape of his neck. Enkidu snuck up behind the bull and grabbed the tuft of its tail, and with his foot on its hock, he something. And then Gilgamesh, like a butcher, brave and deft, thrust the sword between the neck, horn, and spine. It's actually how you do slaughter a bull traditionally before guns. You would tie the bull with its horns against the post or a tree, so that his head was face downwards and the nape was exposed. You then have to very carefully cut the nape. You have to do it carefully because if you miss, you're just going to hurt the animal. But if you cut the nape of the neck or break its spine, basically you've instantly killed the animal. It's instantaneous death, pretty much. After they had killed the bull of heaven, they cut open its heart and gave it to the sun god. They stepped back and bowed before Shamash. Then the two of them sat down together. Ishtar went up to the wall of Uruk, stamped her feet in anger and cried, "Woe to Gilgamesh who disgraced me and killed the bull of heaven." Enkidu heard what Ishtar said, tore off the bull's member and hurled it at her. "I'd do the same to you if only I could catch you and drape your arms in its guts." Ishtar convened with her devotees, her temple girls and priestesses, around the bull's members and began the lamentation. Ishtar's priests were the Gada priests, and the Gada priests were lamenters. So that's why she's lamenting it. That's what the priests do. Gilgamesh called for the craftsmen of the smiths of the city, and they all praised the size of the horns. Each horn was 30 pounds of pure lapis, and their cases were 2 fingers thick. They could hold 300 gallons of oil. Gilgamesh dedicated them to his god, Lugubanda. He picked them up and hanged them in his bedroom. They washed their hands in the Euphrates, then took hold of each other and went. They rode through the streets of Uruk, and Uruk's people thronged to see them. Gilgamesh called to his servant girls, "Who is the most beautiful youth? Who is the most splendid of men?" "Gilgamesh is the most beautiful youth. Gilgamesh is the most splendid of men. Something renewed in our wrath. Something in the streets no one disgraces him. Something way in his palace. Gilgamesh begins the celebration." When the young men went to sleep in their beds, Enkidu too went to bed and had a dream. Enkidu got up to interpret his dream and said to his friend, and then that's it. This is tablet 7. That was tablet 6. And we're going to stop here today. We will not be raiding anyone, as I prefer to end stream so that people who are sleeping and have the stream open can just go to bed. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I'll see you all this evening when we finish the Classic of Seas. I very much look forward to finishing it. I've been enjoying the Classic of Mountain and Sea a lot. Well, I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Goodbye, everyone. I don't know how big the delay is, so I just need to go stare at my chat. Okay, it's gone. Goodbye.